What's up everyone, I'm the Geek and welcome to another video. I am aware I look like shit right now. I am aware my place looks like shit right now. Ignore that because I tell you to. But I am here with a different kind of video. I thought I got a book a couple of months ago. I have not seen anyone mention it, and if I'm gonna be honest, it's really fucking cool. So I thought I would do a little thing. Uh, so here it is. Anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons will probably notice the 5e and the d20 right there. Here's the thing. This is fucking awesome. This book is actually fucking fantastic. This is essentially, it's a book for warlocks. It is essentially a full book filled with different patrons. I believe it's... I don't want to say how many actually, but every single one of these things is a different patron. I will go over to this point. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. It is 17. I thought it was 17, but I would thought, oh, that's a bit much. I don't know if that is actually how much it is. Turns out it is. 17 different patrons. But not only that, not only is there 17 different patrons, each one has a second subclass. So each one has got a second subclass. That's blurry. Second subclass: barbarian, sorcerer, paladin, fighter, monk, rogue. And I thought, I'm not going to go through every single one because then I would basically be saying, hey, I want to give you all the information now so you don't have to buy the book. No. Honestly, I did a search on YouTube. I was like, has anyone done anything? And I saw one video that had about 79 views, and I thought, fuck it, I'll get less than that, but I still want to talk about it. So what I decided I'm going to do, I'm going to go through, by the way, if you hear shouting, that's my flatmate in the other room, that's Goose. I apologise if you can hear that. He's screaming at the game. I decided what I'm going to do is there's 17 here. I figured I'm going to cover 5 of them. I'll do 5 of my favourites, and I'm not going to just say everything. I'm just going to give a brief sort of overview of each one. It'll be in its own video, so 5 videos on this book. I'll go through the lore. I'll go through the second subclass. I'll go through the warlock stuff, and some of them even have their own familiar, and also an all-fallen race. So some of them even have a race based on them, and I thought that was pretty cool. The races are not as much of an I don't find the races as interesting, but the familiars are pretty cool, and subclasses are pretty cool, and the actual lore behind a lot of these is actually really good. So I figured I'd start with probably my favourite one, strangely enough, because every single one of them is really good. There's a couple that aren't as good, but they are all really fucking good. So I figured I'd start with my favourite one, which is actually happens to be the first one, which is the Accursed Archive. The Accursed Archive. So what the Accursed Archive is, it is a library an archive basically, filled with all the knowledge within the multiverse. It is essentially a case of you choose your character to be the warlock for this to be a patron. You were maybe in a library, or you picked up a tome or something and you read it, and it was like a forbidden tome or something like that, and from this you gained knowledge from it or whatever, and now you are somehow cursed or fucked up in some way by the knowledge you found in this tome. Or, of course, the way I've done it for my character, was walking around, looking for knowledge on how to exploit a game, and he happened to just stumble down a corridor in a library that shouldn't have been there. Let me just zip up my thing. I look like a shit right now, and I'm trying to cover that up as best as I can. There we go. Full Metal... That's the wrong side. Full Metal Alchemist. Next, we have the lore within it and some of the things within. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to do that because the lore, especially with this one, the lore in is really good. I like this. And I'm very surprised I haven't seen anyone talk about this. It's a really good book, especially for players. As long as, of course, your DM allows it. But for DMs, there is also some really, really cool stuff. So, what do we have? I'm going to just, I'm going to lower... Oh, God. Hold on, I'm going to lower the camera for this a little bit. He shoots Eren Yeager in... Okay, I'm going to ignore that. That's my flatmate. So, this is a bit better. So, what we have, the otherworldly patron. So, for this, for the Accursed Archive, you get an expanded spell list. I may go into the spells at some point in a 6th separate video, but for the most part, I don't think I will. Because I want at least some things to be... you need to have a reason to go and buy this, because I really like this book. It's by Genuine Fantasy Press. Go and check it out, for the love of God. So, the Accursed Archive, you get the expanded spell list. You mean you also get Detect Evil and Good, Inflict Wounds, Accursed Wish, Dark Secret, Blackened Heart, Blasphemy, Black Tentacles, Forbidden Obelisk, Dispel Evil and Good, and Legend Lore. So there are several new spells in this, which are Accursed Wish, Dark Secret, Blackened Heart, Blasphemy, and Forbidden Obelisk. Very interested to see. What some of them do, but we will push that to the side for now. So, Tainted Knowledge. First level, you feasted your eyes upon the books of the archive, and your mind has both withered and grown. Choose 2 of the following. So basically, it's a case of, first level you gain to 2 of the following: Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. Your proficiency bonus is doubled, so you gain Expertise. Okay, for any ability check you make that uses a chosen skill if you're proficient in that skill. And you gain proficiency in any one skill of your choosing. Why is Deception not in there? That would have been perfect for my character. You can use an action to enter the Accursed... Yeah, this is the thing I really liked. You can use an action to enter the Accursed Archive, along with up to 10 willing companions of your choosing that you can see. That is a really, really, really cool thing that I like about this. Being able to just enter the Accursed Archive, it's like a... There's a good reason why... I was telling this to a possible DM. I say possible DM. The next person that's going to DM, because I'm currently DMing a campaign. And he was like... He basically said, that's a bit powerful. But here's the thing. 1, you can't long rest or short rest in there. And 2, there is a thing that is always hunting you when you are there. So yeah. As well as that, it is. I can understand some people. It might be. It's super powerful because the Accursed Archive. It's a library with all the knowledge in the multiverse. So some DMs may be like, no, I don't like that. You're not having it. Thankfully, I'm allowed it. So, choosing that you can see. Time does not pass outside the archive. That's another thing. Whilst you're within. And you cannot rest, recover hit points, or maintain concentration when inside. For more information on the archive, see inside the archive, blah blah blah. When you choose to depart, you and your companions return instantly to the point of which you entered. Once you use this feature, you cannot do so again until you finish a long rest. Ooh. Timing. Yeah. But the thing that I like about the Accursed Archive in this, when you're there, in order to know what... So let's say you want to... Let's think. Let's say there's a mystery going on, and you need to find some lore out on a possible... on a deity or something. Inside the archive. There it is. Where is it? Here we go. This is the thing this is what I really like, and this is something I'm super happy about, because warlocks are one of my favorite classes. Mainly because they are not powerful, but they are much more... They're a class that's reliant more on like RP, because they are a very customizable class, and I love that. It's similar to Artificer, one of my other favorite classes. It's a very customizable class. But yeah. Whilst few venture into the Accursed Archive, those who do cannot help but be drawn through the great hall to gaze upon the tome at the centre of the room, the Index Incarnatus, a singular, endless book that contains the location and description of every single scrap of forbidden lore within the archive. Cool. You need to know some lore that's forbidden and blah 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 whatever. You go to the Accursed Archive. It's an infinite library, so where the fuck are you going to find the book? Well, that's the point of that. Here's the interesting thing. Even gazing upon it for mere moments can cause discomfort, and reading from it can cause agony to both the body and the soul. So, there is a fucking cost. I love this thing. Any creature that attempts to read from the index must make a charisma saving throw with a DC equal to the skill check DC that would be required. Basically, DC check made... it's the choice of the DM. Required to gain the knowledge they seek through ordinary means. If they fail, they gain a level of exhaustion, but may still find the location of the correct tome or scroll at the discretion of the index. All levels of exhaustion gained while within the archive are removed whenever the subject finishes a long rest. And I believe that's the last part of that thing. I really like that, because it isn't just a, hey, here's the information. It's not just a free information. There's a reason why you wouldn't do this. And most people that play Warlocks, I would probably assume, are more into RP, so they wouldn't be the kind of players that would play the character being like, oh yes, I'm willingly going to cause myself incredible amounts of pain to... I don't know what happened there. My camera just froze. So, but people who play Warlocks tend to be more RP players. When I say RP players, I mean like social, because all the game is RP, whatever. When I say RP though, there tend to be more RP heavy players where they won't play their character and just be like, yes, I'm just gonna go and get the knowledge I need and cause myself a ridiculous amount of pain. There's a good reason why you wouldn't do that. And so this is actually what I'm planning on playing next. But yeah, so that was at first level, which is already really cool. 6th level, you've learned to read your servant's adversaries as easily as the scrolls located within the darkest places of the Accursed Archive, and can twist them to serve your cruel whims. As an action, you must touch a creature within reach. The target must make a charisma saving throw with a DC equal to your warlock spell save. If they fail, they're paralyzed until the end of your next turn, and their flesh peels back into the pages of a book bound underneath their skin. JoJo's reference. The words within describe who they are and what they have done, and you can read up to 6 different sentences from them, prioritizing details you wish to learn. While the creature is paralyzed, you have advantage on charisma and intelligence checks relating to the creature, and it has disadvantage on charisma and wisdom checks. Once you use the feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. I love this as well because it is another one where it's like, again, it is a case of there's a check there, so you're not always going to be able to do it, but obviously blah 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 whatever. It's so cool though. It's like, hey, touch, you're paralyzed now. Also, I'm ripping your skin off and reading the words underneath like a book. I know your life story. I am. Oh no, I can't remember his name. Fuck! I am Kishibe Rohan. Yes. But yeah, that's the level 6 thing, which is also really cool. Next up, we have the level 10 feature. You uncover the secrets that could shatter the balance of the heavens and hells. Choose any spell of 4th level or lower that is not a cantrip. You can cast the spell once using a warlock spell slot. Once you do so, you can't do again until you finish a long rest. Whenever you're within the archive, you can exchange this spell for a different one, but cannot use it until you've finished a long rest. So that's also cool. It's just basically you gain one spell that isn't on the warlock spell list, I believe. Not a cantrip though. So yeah, and it does require a warlock spell slot. So it is a case of one extra spell that isn't from the warlock spell list, which is cool. Whenever you cast the chosen spell, you gain immunity to the frightened condition. That's also... I'm not sure the reason why that's a bit interesting, but that's fair. That's cool, I guess. Extra bonus thing. But then we get the 14th level, the real good thing. And this is interesting. I don't know whether I would use this or not, because here's the thing. I would need to come up with things to say for this, and I'm not very smart. 14th level, you discover the real purpose of the Accursed Archive. The spread of information that will bring ruin to the world. As an action, you can share an unspeakable truth with all creatures that hear you within 60 feet. All hostile creatures who hear and understand your words must make a wisdom save against your warlock spell save. If they fail, they're driven mad and suffer confusion, although affected by the confusion spell, for 1 minute. They can repeat the saving throw each time they suffer damage, ending the effect on a success. You can do up to 4 creatures. Choose one spell you can cast 2nd level or lower that inflicts damage and has a casting time of one action or bonus action. Each infused creature can use their reaction to cast this spell immediately without using verbal, somatic, or material components. Okay, so you give them the ability to cast that spell as well. Alright then. Interesting. Oh, choose up to 4 creatures. So you can choose these creatures. So you could choose your allies. Okay. I was stupid. But yeah, that's the warlock stuff, which is really cool. Then you got some invocations, which I'll go through as well. I won't go through all of them, actually. But you got Archivist's Journal. Cast a spell of 1st level or higher that deals damage. You can use your bonus action to cause one target of the spell to become vulnerable to the first instance of damage from a single type, rolled randomly on the table below. Oh, the table below. It's not below, it's above, you tit. But yeah, basically, target becomes vulnerable to this kind of damage then. Yeah, cool. That's cool. Where's the one there's one of them I really like. When you deal damage, Nope, not this one. Here's one I like. Curse of the Charasphinx. Your flesh grows corrupt in appearance, but is imbued with terrible might. When you're not wearing any armor or using a shield, you can choose to have your AC equal to 10 plus your strength modifier plus your charisma modifier. Warlocks don't usually have a strength well, my last warlock didn't. He had a strength of 3. I am not joking. Plus it was a kobold, so it went down to 2. Yeah. But I will quickly There we go. As well as this, the Accursed Archive, as a warlock, if you choose Pact of the Chain, you can have a familiar. The familiar that you get from this patron, if you want to have it, is also right here. It is the Record Hunter. The Record Hunter is a small, featureless, humanoid construct entirely of paper covered in runic script, generated by the will of the Accursed Archive. Essentially, it's like an origami creature, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm not going to go into all of this. If I remember correctly, the purpose of them is to go out and find lore and writings and things like that that have somehow escaped the attention of the archive itself. But that's really cool. I will probably end up going Pact of the Blade, because it's pretty. There's stuff I don't know. I might go Pact of the Chain. I might go Pact of the Blade. Who knows? But then we move on to the second subclass. I'll try and get through this pretty quickly, which is the barbarian path. Interesting choice. I wouldn't have thought of barbarian for the archive. I would have probably thought wizard. But sure. Yeah. Essentially, so at third level, you've come to terms with what you have witnessed within the archive, and in your bouts of rage, you ramble about. So, with it, it's a case of when you go into a rage, you're rambling all of these secrets and things and whatever, which is cool. Shut up, phone. So you're doing all of this cool. This is weird, fucked up. You've been driven crazy kind of thing, and that's the kind of flavoring of this barbarian rage, where it's like you've kind of been driven mental by going to the archive and learning whatever it is you've learned. But here's an interesting thing. Whenever raging, each creature that starts its turn within 10 feet of you, not 5 but 10, needs to succeed on a wisdom save or be frightened of you until the end of its next turn. Now the interesting thing here, where does it say it? You gain resistance to all damage inflicted by frightened creatures. So that's pretty cool. However, the thing about this is, if I remember correctly, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If a creature's frightened, it kind of has to take it has to use its action to run away from you. I may be wrong about that, but cool. Anyway, 6th level, From Beyond. Your words seem to cut at the minds of those who listen even more horribly than before. You can cast the Dark Secret spell once, and you recover it after you enter a rage. So every time you enter a rage, you can cast Dark Secret. I will have a quick look at the Dark Secret spell, because if I remember correctly, it was pretty cool. Let's see. D. Here we go. Oof. Dark Secret. You whisper a phrase into the mind of a target, unknown to you, but clear and terrifying to them. Until the end of your next turn, you have advantage on all ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws involving your target. So, this is a one use, it's until your next turn, but you gain it every time you enter a rage. So, I think that's not too bad. That's pretty balanced, because you can't just use it over and over, unless you're going to just enter your rage, exit your rage, enter your rage, which is a really stupid thing to do, which, by the way, one of my players has done that, because the Path of the Mercurial in this book has a similar feature where it's like when you end a rage, it inflicts a thing onto someone else. So he just entered his rage and then exited his rage and then went back in. Basically wasting rage, but whatever. The thing on your doorstep. 10th level, your hallucinations slowly enter reality. Cool. As your dark tendrils of the Silent One move at the corners of your vision. Whenever you enter a rage, you can choose to unleash the horrors that dwell within your mind upon the world. Choose a number of creatures within 30 feet of you equal or less than your charisma modifier. So, essentially, up to 5 if you've got a maximum charisma modifier. But as a barbarian, you probably won't. And basically, you're able to move them 5 feet. And then the final thing, I'm just going to quickly go through this now. What the moon brings. Oh. He's on about... I was wondering what the hell... I heard someone say, damn, he's upstairs, and it's my flatmate, and he's talking about... Siege, I believe. So, I was confused then, because I thought he said Dan to me. Anyway, when the moon brings 14th level, you finally accept the things you learned within the archive. You realise that ruinous secrets it unleashes upon the world are merely statements of a truth that mankind has long dreaded to learn. Silent Ones, which is over here, basically Silent One is a thing in the archive that hunts you. Silent Ones are not villains, but guardians destined to safeguard the universe from those who would exploit the foul heresies of the Accursed Archive. So you begin your preparation to join their ranks. Whenever you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, you can choose to allow a Silent One to lash out from within your skin, ensnaring another unwary soul and twisting their flesh from its good purpose. Choose a creature within 30 feet of you. The target must make a strength or dexterity check contested by your own strength check, not strength or dex. If it fails, the tendril snares them and drags them into the closest open space near you, and the creature gains 1 level of exhaustion. A creature cannot be affected by this feature more than once per turn. Once per turn? I would have said more than once. Oh, that's a bit of a... I'm not sure about that last bit, but okay. But I guess that is 14th level, so... But yeah. Then you've got some lore stuff here. So I think each of them has also got like relics or magic items, so I'll go over these as well because these are really cool. Yeah, next one's Ashen Wolf. Really cool as well. I don't know if I'll go over that one. Yeah, some relics. So you got Ink Razor. I kind of want this. It's cool. I kind of want this when I start the next campaign, because magical dagger that appears to be an inkwell, but when opened, it transforms into a blade of hardened black liquid. Whenever you hit a creature with this weapon, it suffers disadvantage on saving throws against spells until the start of your next turn. Kind of cool. Would be good for a rogue. I'm not really playing a rogue. Bloodstained Quill. This is cool. This is cool. Whenever the quill is dipped in the blood of a living creature, it can be used to write 1 or more words upon that creature's skin. So it has to be dipped in a creature's blood, and it only works on that creature. But it's cool. It's a legendary level, so... Those words become true and the target acts, though affected by the Gear spell. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. But yeah, that's... I think it says you can write upon at least 1 or more words. Okay, so it just says 1 or more. But yeah. And then the final one is armor. While a creature is wearing celestial spiteful armor. While a creature is wearing and attuned to this dark and corrupted armor, they gain resistance to magical damage from spells. Bloody hell. That's pretty fucking strong. Resistance to all magical damage from spells. So basically, all spells. Resistance to all spells. Bloody hell. I don't know if that should be very rare. That should be a higher than rare. Very rare. That should be a... Yeah, that's strong. Against spells cast by non-evil... Oh! Right. There's the caveat. Resistance to magical damage from spells and advantage on saving throws against spells cast by non-evil creatures. most of what you'll be going up against will be evil creatures. So this is something for your DMs. And a non-evil creature, oh wow, a non-evil creature wearing this armor can't cast spells. That's interesting. I like that. But yeah, that is the Accursed Archive. I've been talking for 30 minutes, longer than I intended. I think the one I'll go through next, I've done that. That's my favourite one in the book so far. The next one I'll go is probably my second favourite, which is the Forbidden Graveyard, and there's a rogue archetype in there that I do really like. So, and I kind of just like it because it's called a Grave Robber. Yes, of course. But yeah, that's where I will leave it, because I'll do 4 more videos of this. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content. I will see you in the next one. Bye.